In this video, we'll see how we can use Airtable to add new products to our Shopify store. The base we'll be using is based off of our expanded template that you can find in the Airtable universe. Before we start adding products, there is just one thing to keep in mind. When adding products from Airtable to Shopify, we need to know whether our product has variants or whether it does not. This will affect the steps that we need to take when adding new products to our Airtable. If your product does not have variants, we only need to work with the products table. To add a product without variants, we just add a new row and we give the product a title. A title is the bare minimum amount of information that Shopify requires in order to create a product. Now we have a product that if we ran our Airtable to Shopify sync, will be created in our Shopify store. Keep in mind that when creating a product, you need to leave the column specifying the Shopify ID empty. An empty Shopify ID is a signal to AirPower to create the product. If a Shopify ID is present, AirPower will update the product. Right now we have the bare amount of information needed to create this product in Shopify, but if we wanted to, we can add other information, such as a handle, a description, etc. Let's set up our case of when we want to add a product with variants. To do so, we first add a row to a products table, just as we did for the product with no variants. And we leave the Shopify ID column empty. Next, we need to jump to the table containing our variants. Here, we're going to add 2 new rows because we have 2 variants to create. We're going to find the product that we just created and link it with both variant rows. We're also going to leave the Shopify IDs empty, again as a signal to AirPower that these variants are to be created and are not variants that need to be updated. Finally, in order to give Shopify the bare minimum amount of information it needs to create these variants, we need to set up our options. Options in Shopify are dimensions along which you differentiate your variants. They can be a maximum of 3 dimensions, and they can be things such as weight, size, material, or whatever dimension makes sense for your business. Whenever we have variants for a product, we need to specify at least one of these options. If we do not do so, Shopify will throw an error. To specify the options, we first have to specify an option name. We do this on the products table for the column mapped to the relevant option name. In this case, we will only use the option 1 name, but you're welcome to use option 1, option 2, or option 3. In this case, we'll say that our option 1 name is size. Keep in mind that if you specify an option name, the variants of the product need to have values for that option. If you do not do so, Shopify will generate an error. In this case, our option 1 name is size, and we're going to go and give 2 different sizes to our option 1 value. Something to keep in mind here is that no 2 variants for a product can have the same set of option names. So if we had specified 2 medium variants, Shopify will throw an error. We are now ready with the bare minimum amount of information necessary to create the 2 products. So let's jump into the AirPower Shopify Admin Interface app and start our sync. We are now in the AirPower app interface in the Shopify admin. So let's queue up an Airtable to Shopify sync and wait for it to complete. Our sync is now running, and we'll just wait for it to finish before looking at the new products we just created. Our Airtable to Shopify sync has now finished, so we can open up our products page in Shopify admin and look at the new products we just created. Here we are in the product section, and we can see that we created two products, one with no variants and the other one with variants. So let's look inside and make sure that our data is correct. Here we can see the entry for our product with no variants, and as you might remember, the only piece of data we specified for this product was the title. There are no variants or images added for this particular product. Here is our product with variants. Here we specified the title and we specified variant information. As you can see, our two variants have been created, the medium and the large. And if we look at our options list, you can see that the option 1 is specified as size and that it has two values, medium and large. This is the process you need to follow to create products with variants and product without variants from Airtable into Shopify. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.